The prelude to our story begins in the woods at night. A young lady yells for someone to come back. Along with her being worried, we also see she is restrained to a tree. She yells out in desperation that she will do anything a certain person wants. Plus, she won't say anything. We don't get to see what happens to the poor girl, but it sounds like something bad does. Then we see a road in the woods during the cloudy daytime. A car soon rides along this road. Inside it, a girl named Janie is our protagonist. Right as she starts talking, the driver instructs her to be silent. Upon arriving at their destination, Janie sees several young ladies walking who are around her age. She enters a building and sits before the doctor of the establishment. He starts by telling her this is the only conversation she will have there. Moving along, he says she was arrested for something she quickly denies having done. However, he reminds her he isn't a judge, he's a doctor. His job is to rehabilitate her on the judgment she already received. If she fails, she will go to jail. We learn it's a family-run business of the doctor and his two sons. He says the rules are simple before he starts listing off the many things that cannot be done there. No talking, no phones, even no eye contact is allowed in this strange place. During the night, she should stay quiet. In a short time, one of his sons comes to whisper something to him. He also places a photo on a book that belongs to Janie. Seeing this, the girl objects to him having looked through her belongings. Distractions cloud the mind, says the doctor. After Janie says the photo is the single item left of her family, he says this gives her one more reason to follow the rules. He firmly tells her that in this place, she has neither privacy nor a voice. The next scene shows Janie walking outside, using an inhaler. She walks into an area that has several small burgundy buildings. A girl who sits on the steps of her building points Janie to where she should go. Listening to her, Janie enters her designated structure. Her luggage is there with her phone inside. Lucky for her, it wasn't taken because she was smart to hide it. She hides it again in her drawer. Then she goes outside and follows the girls somewhere. Soon she asks one of them if they are waiting for dinner, but the girl does not say anything. So Janie repeats her question, which still doesn't get answered. The doctor passes Janie, weirdly pointing to the ground without saying a word. Afterward, everyone occupies the cafeteria building, where no one talks. One girl writes something in a notebook prior to pointing Janie to the doctor. He comes to her, showing the newcomer what the other girl wrote. It's a message stating that Janie talked. Since she starts talking again to explain herself, the doctor instantly gestures for her to stay silent. He follows this by gesturing to his son that Janie gets no food for breaking the rule of no talking. As she walks away, another girl laughs. This makes the doctor point to her, gesturing for her to leave the building. The girl gets angry, pushing her tray of food away on the floor. The doctor points a second time to where she should go and she just turns to face him with a rebellious attitude. She also stands up to the man before standing on the table to bow in Janie's direction for some reason. Later, Janie is walking outside with the girls. She has to stop because she hears howling in the woods. Shortly after, she hears a dog or a wolf getting silenced. As she keeps moving, we observe something that looks like an ear lying on the ground. At night, Janie delights in having the privilege to listen to her music with her earphones. Meanwhile, the doctor's younger son is looking into the buildings with a flashlight. He shines the light on a girl, prompting her to move. Walking away, he hears a creature snarling. Then we see Janie has fallen asleep listening to her music. She unconsciously pushes her phone down and it disconnects from her earphones, causing it to emit the music such that anyone can hear it. Thankfully, the girl wakes up in time for this not to happen. She hears something outside, so she puts her ear against the wall to hear a bang that startles her. Come morning, all the girls occupy another building, where a tape plays of the doctor offering them a meditation session. While this goes on, the rebel girl gets Janie's attention. It looks like she's telling her this is nonsense. Our protagonist simply smiles in return. Due to this gesture, the girl gets caught by one of the doctor's sons. He starts taking her away, but she gives him pain. Janie gets up because she wants to do something. Yet another girl holds her arm, gesturing to Janie not to get involved. At night, the rebel girl smokes alone outside. Once she lies down, we see something quickly passing near the screen. Noticing it too, she gets up to see what it could have been. However, all she gets is the doctor's son startling her by putting his hand on her shoulder. Then she barges into a washroom that Janie occupies. The rebel girl tells her not to tell them she's in there and hides in a stall. When Janie leaves, she witnesses the doctor's sons roughly taking the rebel girl away. She begs for them not to put her in a certain place. After observing how the girl was handled, Janie decides to pack her luggage before walking in the woods with it. While she walks, we hear the unsettling sounds of an unseen creature in her vicinity. Soon a car arrives and the younger son exits it. He tells her to get inside, but she refuses to go with him. What prompts Janie to change her mind is her hearing the growls of the creature. Returning to her building, the son puts his hand out, gesturing for her to give him her phone and the earphone. Following this, our attention is briefly brought to the tree that has the restraint around it, which we should remember from the start of the film. The girl who was tied to the tree is no longer there. After that, Janie sits inside another building. The doctor tells her she is lucky her son picked her up. He also says there are things there that come out at night, things she would not want to encounter. All Janie says in response is she saw her sons drag the rebel girl away. The doctor wants the newcomer to understand that she has no idea who the rebel girl is or why she was sent there. Despite her lack of knowledge, she dares to accuse the doctor of doing something wrong. He says they are turning her into a respectable person and one day she will be a good wife. They have a 2-strike policy at this place. Janie's attempt to escape counts as her first strike. On her second strike, she will go to jail. Then we see the girls in the meditation session again. They have their eyes closed, but upon Janie opening hers, she notices the girl who was beside her is now gone. During mealtime, Janie sits at the table near the rebel girl. She whispers to her, asking what happened. The girl just looks at her before getting up to report to the doctor that Janie broke the rule of silence. Seeing this, Janie tries eating what she can because the man approaches to take her food away. Later, she looks out of a window and sees a girl being taken out of a certain building. It seems very suspicious, like something was done to her inside. Subsequently, all the girls enter the meditation room again. Some abrupt images suddenly invade Janie's mind. During the next mealtime, she sits near another girl. She quickly puts her hand on Janie's to seemingly prevent her from eating. Soon everyone there starts gagging and rushing to the washroom. With the room clear, the girl tells Janie to come with her somewhere. They both arrive at a lake. After the girl screams, she tells Janie she wanted to do that for weeks. She says she put a special ingredient in the food to cause trouble for everyone. She was able to do this because the older son likes her, so he let her into the kitchen. The girl introduces herself as Alexis, who has been at this rehab area for 3 weeks. She informs Janie that they are changing them somehow. One day, a girl is fine, and on the next, she becomes transformed. Alexis advises her new friend they have to keep quiet and act like everything is working. Then, she shows Janie a note of a girl who was there prior to Janie. It states the treatment is finished in addition to the girl having to leave early. Janie is curious to know what happens in the building she saw Alexis leaving yesterday. But she cannot remember and she says neither can Janie. Except with Janie, it's even stranger, for she was there today, according to Alexis. This confuses Janie, making her wonder why they haven't changed. All Alexis knows is they have to get out of there. She has a plan to use the car to escape. When the duo returns to the main area, Janie enters the building they spoke about. Inside the cafeteria, Alexis feigns feeling nauseous to not appear suspicious to the doctor. In the meantime, her friend finds nothing in the building she entered to investigate. Once she exits it, she sees Alexis from the cafeteria's window. She gestures for Janie to stop, therefore she lies on the ground to fake being sick. Afterward, Alexis gets the doctor to come to Janie outside. He takes the faking girl and carries her into her building's bed. Then all the girls enter their buildings. Alexis sneaks out of hers to enter Janie's. The girl informs Alexis she found nothing in that building. We learn from their conversation that Alexis had a girlfriend, something her family rejected her for doing. She started a pride parade for it and sat in the busiest intersection until the police took her away. Janie asks if she accomplished anything with her parade. Perhaps she asks this rhetorically, because she does not wait for an answer. She starts offering her own story, saying how she tried to explain that someone had his hands on her. However, she does not finish describing it. Her point is that it does not make a difference. They are stuck in the rehab area due to no one caring about them. As their conversation continues, we learn Janie's parents lost their lives in a car accident, which Janie was a part of. She mentions how her father was in his final moment. Instead of being scared, he was smiling. Janie thinks he behaved that way to keep her from panicking. Unfortunately, she could not do anything to prevent his demise. The scene ends with Alexis giving Janie her comforting words. Then they occupy the meditation session again. Janie sees the doctor taking a girl somewhere and she stands to tell her not to go with him. The first thing the doctor tells her is that she broke the silence. Second, he says she thinks her words are more important than everyone. The tough girl replies by wishing for him to go to hell. Coming closer to her, he says these girls could have spent their lives in prison. Now they are going to serve society by raising families. The man tried giving similar treatment to Janie, but he sees she is beyond such help. She has acquired her second strike, meaning she will leave this place in the morning. At night, the doctor tells his son to get cabin 9 ready. His older son says the creature has been more sensitive lately. While they are out there, Alexis watches them from her building's window. The older son enters it and she knocks him out. She follows this by going to Janie so they can start leaving. The duo enters the doctor's main room, searching for the car keys. As Alexis is searching for them, Janie finds a folder in another room, which contains her information. Since her confiscated family photo is there, Janie pockets it. Finding another folder, she learns the doctor's last name is Prince. Upon telling this to Janie, she remembers the judge who placed her there has the same name. She infers they are brothers, to make their situation more bizarre. Alexis finds her release form and sees it's already signed by both brothers. Janie's form is also signed, prompting her to say the ones holding them there want people to think they are free. In a drawer, Janie finds many items there, like all the girls' IDs. The doctor is covering his tracks by doing this, she says. She also comes to realize the girl who left the note never finished her treatment. Then Alexis experiences a moment of confusion, asking her friend on what day she arrived. After telling her the exact day in October, Alexis wants to know what year it was on along with what the current year is. Janie answers both questions by saying the year is 2014. Of course, she is confused about having to answer this. Alexis starts shaking her head, saying she can't remember any of this. She says she came there in September 2012, meaning she was there for over 2 years. Janie does not know how to respond to this hair-raising revelation. Her mind just shifts to them needing to find the keys. Following this, Alexis finds the keys in the pocket of a hanging coat. Soon they hear the doctor coming and are forced to hide. The man enters, searching for the keys in his coat, but realizes they aren't there. This causes him to start talking. Despite not seeing Janie, he's talking to her. He says he had a lot of hope for the girl, for she had everything the others did not. Then Alexis rushes out of the room, only to get caught by the older son. He holds her in front of his father, who asks the girl where her friend is. He slaps her once Alexis mentions the no-talking rule. He follows this by collecting a syringe to inject her with, and she tosses the keys for Janie to collect. They somehow don't notice her doing this. Meanwhile, Janie hides in a room, hearing all this. Hearing a door close, the doctor walks to that area. He comes to the door Janie hides behind to try opening it, yet she locks it so he cannot. We switch to seeing the older son touching a sedated Alexis in bed. He whispers to her that they can finally be together. Later, the doctor comes to them, asking if Alexis has any keys on her. The older son says she does not, left alone with a dizzy Alexis. The doctor turns on a ticking device and starts counting down from 10. As he does, he turns on a projector to display images to her. One image is of a phrase saying silence is golden. Another is a passage from the Bible saying the husband has authority over his wife. She must submit to him as the church submits to Christ. More statements from the Bible are shown regarding how females should be. Then Alexis sees pictures of families and housewives in particular. She is forced to look at the words, obey, to brainwash her. When the doctor snaps his fingers, the scene ends. Alexis awakens elsewhere, trying to open 2 doors, but they are locked. So she bangs on one of them, calling out to whoever might be there. Soon the door behind her opens and she walks into that room. The doctor is there to tell her she has failed the test. All that's left for him to do is show her the door he wants her to open. Doing that, Alexis sees his son standing behind it, ready to take her away. In the next scene, all 3 of them are in the woods with the poor girl. They start restraining her to the tree like the girl was in the opening scene. There, the doctor reveals that a demand for a good wife exists. They just supply the product. After Alexis says she will take his life, the man says his ex-wife said the same thing. She said it once he caught her cheating on him. Then something evolution forgot about came out of the woods. It gave him a solution to all of his problem. Before leaving, the doctor tells Alexis his older son loved her and they tried to fix her. Now she is stuck to the tree, made to wait for whatever it is that lurks in the woods to come for her. It doesn't take long for her to hear someone or something coming. Fortunately, it happens to be the best kind of person who could arrive, Janie. While she uses a rock to try breaking the restraint, Alexis finds a severed ground. When they hear something growl, they both stay still in anticipation. Suddenly, Alexis gets taken by an unseen creature and holds onto the belt restraining her. Due to this, it snaps, which allows the girls to start running away. They escape into the cafeteria, where everyone is present. Alexis gets her revenge by knocking down the doctor. He tells the other 3 that these 2 suffer from paranoid delusions. Yet Alexis informs them there truly is a creature in the woods. Reprehensibly, the doctor tried to feed her to it. Janie also tries to win the rest of the group over by saying Alexis has unknowingly been there for 2 years. With her words, she manages to get the other girls to accept her message and they even state what their names are. At this moment, the wicked doctor realizes he is losing, so he runs away with his sons. They might have the advantage of being males, but there are 3 of them versus 5 of the girls. The coward runs out of the room prior to locking the door on them. Then a cello starts playing for all the girls to hear. One of them comes to the window, saying she sees something moving outside. This makes the rebel girl open a door to see what it could be. It was a bad idea because the creature is there to strike her head, causing her life liquid to splatter on the ground. The creature gets inside the room to bring chaos to the poor girls. It deals with one of them and starts eating her. Janie hides with Alexis in another room while a second girl loses her life to the creature. The tension is high with the duo hiding. Janie watches the door in anticipation of the creature entering to get them too. Soon, it enters, yet the girls are hiding behind a wall in addition to being quiet. What disturbs the quietness is a dripping shower head. Seeing that it's attracting the strange creature to it, Janie tosses a utensil to distract the monster. She uses this time to swiftly tighten the shower head. After the creature leaves, the girls later do the same. They walk inside the cafeteria, seeing the girls who had lost their lives as they underwent procedures from an evil family. The only girl who survived is the rebel. Alexis tells Janie to leave the severely injured girl, but our heroine isn't the type to do this. They start carrying her out of the cafeteria and we observe the older son walking in their direction. By the time he approaches the injured girl, her companions are no longer with her. Therefore, he drags her back inside. Then the girls enter another building, where Janie uses her inhaler. She informs her friend that the creature is hurt by every sound. In the cafeteria, the younger son is cleaning the mess the creature created. As he does it, he sees the rebel girl and comes to her. Taking out Janie's phone and her earphones, he starts listening to her music. The surviving girl gestures to him that she's in trouble, prompting him to kneel to her. She wisely uses this moment to slap the earphones away from the phone. The music that now loudly emits from it calls the sound-sensitive monster to it. The younger son gets grabbed by the creature, who in turn holds onto the rebel girl to prevent being dragged away. At this moment, the doctor comes in and tells her to do something. She actually complies, just not how he wants her to. She kicks his son in the face to make him let go of her, which allows the creature to drag him away. The doctor walks outside, hearing the screams of his son. We switch to the duo hearing this. Janie uses this opportunity to break a piece of glass and a chair to construct a weapon. A shard from the glass becomes the blade while the handle to hold it is the wood from the chair. Afterward, the doctor returns to the rebel. He tells her she let his son perish, so he resorts to giving her an eye for an eye. Shifting back to the girls, they traverse through the woods. Arriving near a building, they hear banging and growling. Janie quietly comes to it, having her inhaler fall from her pocket in the process. When she picks it up, she turns around to come face to face with the monster. It is a grotesque, albino-looking creature. Since Janie does not make a sound, it leaves. She enters the building to grab the car keys in there. The next thing we see is the girls sitting in the car, with Janie trying to start it. Much to their dismay, the machine is not cooperating in this troublesome time. Alexis wants Janie to open the hood. Looking under it, Alexis is quick to recognize the problem. She says the fuel line has been disconnected and all she needs are pliers to fix it. Alas, this isn't the night that holds a solution to her hellish captivity. The doctor is there with his remaining son. The former stabs the poor girl in her stomach, causing Janie to lock the car doors to have some safety. Supposedly, the older son loved Alexis, but he allowed his dad to do this to her. Janie yells for her friend to hide under the car, so she does. As the doctor stands in front of the car, Janie honks the horn at him. We see the monster suffering because of this loud sound. Then, the doctor leaves and Janie starts walking away with Alexis. Of course, she has to help the wounded girl walk. They enter a building, where Janie places Alexis on a bed. She also urges her to be quiet, something that is very hard for Alexis to do in her severely injured state. Her painful groans attract the creature to their hideout. It starts banging on the door. Alexis tells her friend she is on the verge of perishing. Therefore, she wants Janie to end her suffering. With great disturbance, our heroine starts suffocating the girl. Soon Alexis loses her life. Since her groans have ended, the creature stops banging on the door. Janie has saved herself in addition to giving her friend a painless rest. She follows this agonizing moment by getting on the floor in a fetal position. It's probably the worst thing she ever had to do. An unknown amount of time later, a determined Janie returns to the cafeteria. There she sees the doctor. Once his son arrives, Janie stabs him with the weapon she made. The doctor grabs a knife too for them to engage in a knife fight. While they're occupied with that, the creature enters to start eating the son. Seeing this, the doctor tries to escape, but Janie comes to push him down. She stabs his leg and he uses the same knife to stab hers. When the creature approaches them, they stay still with fear. After it leaves, Janie wants it to come back for the doctor. She executes this desire by holding the vile man and pressing on the wound she inflicted. He screams in pain as a result. The monster cannot handle this level of noise, so it comes to bite him to his demise. Thankfully, it leaves the girl alone because she makes no sounds. However, this look of hers quickly turns around due to her experiencing trouble breathing. Becoming agitated by her sounds, the creature starts coming at her. It chases her to the point where she can no longer run. What she does in this frightening moment is look at her family photo. Upon being approached by the creature, Janie tells it to go to hell, exactly what she told the doctor previously. Then she yells at it, which seems to cause life liquid to exit the monster's head. Now that she understands how to give it damage, our heroine simply screams loudly at it. She keeps screaming and the creature backs away. We see it holds a baby monster in its arms. Perhaps because it cries, the creature is forced to retreat. Yet Janie keeps screaming, using her only weapon to keep the creature from coming back. The final scene shows her walking away near the woods during daylight. She struggles to do it, but at least she is alive.